And the grid forming up then for the 60 laps of the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. Heikki Kovalainen on the right, Mark Webber on the left with Lewis Hamilton behind him, and the race is go. Great immediate getaway by Kovalainen, but Raikkonen is on the attack. He's trying to force Webber out, and look at Hamilton down the inside. The crowd goes mad as Lewis Hamilton sides up the inside, but Kovalainen's not having that. He looks in his mirrors to see where Hamilton is. He's squeezing his teammate. Hamilton has to back out of it. Uncompromising driving by Kovalainen, and Hamilton was on the rampage at the start. Here's another look at the start. Look at Hamilton.
Yeah, there's often a lot of grip on the right-hand side of this racetrack, always has been. And Hamilton really hooked it up. And as Webber was busy trying to block Raikkonen, Hamilton steamed through. And this impresses me from Kovalainen. He was having none of that, nearly dropped it on the curb. This is on board then with Lewis Hamilton. This is where he takes the Red Bull and the Ferrari, and it looks like he's got the lead here, doesn't it? And then oh wow, they touched, both McLarens touching there. That could have ended in tears.
Hamilton is just closing right up now on the back of his teammate. The front of his car snaking around, and you can see he's right up behind the rear wing now. It's a lot of work for Hamilton to keep this car pointing in a straight line. On the run down the Hangar Straight then towards Stowe. Up to 190 miles an hour, and this is where Mansell passed Piquet, and now Hamilton has gone past Kovalainen in an equally memorable pass.
Alonso and Raikkonen to a large extent are threatening to close in on this pair, and look at the closing speed. Lewis had these a full 70 metres behind him, and just doesn't bother to brake.
Just put Lewis Hamilton's drive in perspective for us. Obviously, when your man Barrichello was on the extreme wet tyre, he was quicker. But Hamilton at times 5, 6, 7 seconds a lap faster than the other drivers on the intermediate.
Very impressive. I mean, it's one of those things when you hook up and you get the tyres working, you can be light years ahead. And Lewis on inters was very, very impressive.
Meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton is almost around at the end of the lap. The sun has come out on the start-finish straight. The air horns are blowing. I'm sure once he gets into the complex, he may just chance taking his hand off the steering wheel and giving the odd wave to the 90,000 capacity crowd who have come. Just listen to them. So many questions asked about his commitment, about his distractions. Could he handle the pressure? Was he man enough? He came here to Silverstone and he has shown them all with one of the great drives at Silverstone. Lewis Hamilton wins the British Grand Prix. A fantastic performance, a mesmerising drive. At times he was 5 or 6 seconds a lap quicker than men on the same tyre.
What do you have to do then tomorrow? How can you turn this around?
Do what I can to get up as high as possible.
I had a little bit of a touch with Hamilton's wheel.
Are you okay, Kimmy?
Okay, red flag, suspended race. Drive directly to the grid and park in the staggered grid position.
Race will restart behind the safety car.
Safety car in this lap. This is great stuff, Valtteri.
Okay, Lewis, 3/10 faster, sector 1. It's hammer time.
Gearbox problem.
Lewis behind you at the moment, so let him go. Concentrate on bringing the car home, Nico.
Okay, I'm trying everything. Anything else I can do?
Turn off, stop, turn off, Nico. Gonna save the engine. Sebastian, track limit warning.
And you tell him the same. He didn't leave the space. I could have easily get him a puncture.
Stay patient, you're clearly quicker.
Move the race, sir. Move the race.
You can't touch this, Lewis. Home Grand Prix win.
England! What a great feeling, guys. I couldn't be happier.
The British weather has served up what could be a real treat as away we go to start the race. Second time this season we started behind the safety car.
Big puddles of aquaplaning, so we can go, Charlie.
It'll be in this lap, won't it? He's nearly hit the safety car there.
If it had gone past the safety car, he would have got into trouble there. He's backed up the field, safety car peels away, and finally, on lap 5 of the British Grand Prix, we can get away racing for real. Verstappen's going to have a go on the inside, down to the Vale chicane, can't get past Rosberg. The top 4 all stay out on the wet tyres, but Raikkonen, Bottas, Sainz, Hülkenberg, Alonso all come in for a change of tyres, as does Grosjean and Magnussen, and it's Hamilton who leads them over the line then, into turn 1. And just getting out there, Kimi Raikkonen not being held up. And there was a risk there to be held up by Grosjean in the Haas. Ferrari could have paid the price there as Hülkenberg comes out, and oh dear, Carlos Sainz very nearly goes into him. Fernando Alonso very nearly goes into Esteban Gutierrez, and it's chaos down in the pit lane. Ricciardo's changes onto intermediates. And there on the inside is Kimi Raikkonen, and that's Daniel Ricciardo coming out on intermediates. And I think what they've had to do with Ricciardo there is protect themselves from the undercut a little bit from Ferrari, because Raikkonen, if you remember, came into the pit straight away when the safety car peeled away. And there is Pascal Wehrlein into the gravel.
Yeah, I'm out. Aquaplaning, first corner, no chance.
It is a virtual safety car. Hamilton's pitted, using this opportunity, and Rosberg too, Verstappen too.
Yeah, it's a nice opportunity because the Inters are faster on this circuit on this day, and they didn't even need to stack, so Rosberg hasn't lost any time. Good work by the Mercedes team. That worked out nice.
Virtual safety car's gone, and so has Lewis Hamilton down the road.
Verstappen now sets a new fastest lap of the race. There's interesting.
By some margin.
Oh, and there's Valtteri Bottas spinning down at Vale. Bottas has gone for a spin, and that's going to lose him 3 or 4 places. And right behind him now, Jenson Button. Valtteri Bottas goes down into 12th, 13th place.
Okay, it's getting drier now. I don't think it's fixed yet, but it's getting closer.
Okay, good info, Max.
The teenager there, and he fancies passing that Mercedes-Benz anytime soon, doesn't he?
Look how Rosberg's struggling there. We don't often see a pass on this part of the track. Round at Chapel, there he goes. Max Verstappen moves into second place. What a move that was on Nico Rosberg.
Outrageous.
First man to go onto the slick tyres. First man on the slick tyres, Martin, to come a cropper as well.
Yeah, he's turned in. And then as he comes back on the track, a bit of a sort of an amateur spin.
Sergio Perez just ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, not for much longer. Round the outside at Stowe goes Daniel Ricciardo. He'd been catching Perez for a while. Now gets the opportunity to move up into 4th place. And out of the race goes Fernando Alonso.
If he follows the follows the service road, he's going back through his own tracks. As long as you keep it moving, you're okay. Yeah, turn one again.
And there goes Valtteri Bottas round the outside. He's not going to give this up, Alonso, but I think he might be wise to, because Bottas gets much better traction, but then goes wide himself. Gets onto the water. You saw just a bit of standing water there. Well, that just shows you, Martin, how tricky it is there. But there is Rio Haryanto. I think Haryanto's going to go and join quite an exclusive Manor car park down there. Hamilton going into turn 1 now, and he doesn't spin in the way that others have.
And he was very cautious coming back on. And oh, I see, Verstappen did the same thing. That's why the 3 of them are now much closer.
DRS for Nico Rosberg. Max Verstappen has to cover him off going into Stowe. Saw him early, covered him off at just the right moment.
That's moving twice, that is not on.
Around Silverstone, from the British fans who flocked, 139,000 of them, to the British Grand Prix and had to put up with some good old-fashioned British weather, but the sun has come out. It's Lewis Hamilton winning the British Grand Prix at Silverstone.
Awesome stuff, Lewis. Great job, man. British Grand Prix.
Great job this weekend, guys. Thank you so much for your continued efforts. Everyone back at the factory. Right now, I'm thinking about all the people.
So Rosberg in trouble. 10-second penalty. That'll put him back in third.
Valtteri Bottas, who has only once been on the second row here at Silverstone, won't be able to make that this weekend. Would love, I'm sure, though, to win out in qualifying. How's his lap time look? It is only second fastest for Valtteri Bottas. Hamilton stays on provisional pole then. He is aiming to match Jim Clark's tally of 5 poles at the British Grand Prix, and by 0.6 of a second, he absolutely smashes the field. A 1:26.6, unbelievable. Kimi Räikkönen on the front row for Ferrari is half a second adrift. Max Verstappen next across the line goes 5th fastest in his Red Bull. Where's Sebastian Vettel, twice a pole sitter here at Silverstone before, crosses the line. He's not even on the front row in terms of the qualifying times. 3rd fastest for him. Lewis Hamilton on pole for the British Grand Prix and a 1:26.6. Wow. It's lights out and away we go, and Hamilton gets away clear from Räikkönen and Vettel. Ocon there covers off his teammate. Great start from the Frenchman. Hamilton is the first corner in the lead. Then ahead of Kimi Räikkönen, Max Verstappen dueling with Sebastian Vettel as they go through Village and into the loop section. Behind them, the old concertina up. It's Hamilton from Räikkönen. Round the outside goes Max Verstappen. Inside Sebastian Vettel. Huge pressure from the Red Bull driver, and it pays off. He gets past Vettel before the start of the Wellington Straight. What a move, Paul di Resta.
Absolutely, Max was committed. He's always aggressive, always pushing. There was flames coming out of the back of Vettel's brake drum, just as I saw at the commentary box window. So hopefully that's going to be okay and not cost him too much in the Grand Prix later stages.
Trouble brewing at Toro Rosso, and that is the stranded Spaniard in front of the Beckett's grandstand.
Front left tyres.
Yeah, you can see it's sun in a shred. This is awful for Kimi Räikkönen. Valtteri Bottas catching him.
My left front tyre broke.
This is going to help Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship, because Max should be able to put himself in front of him. There's Vettel's off the
and Sebastian Vettel's gone off, and maybe it is getting slippy. He's got a puncture too. What is causing these punctures? Both Ferraris struggling. Kimi Räikkönen now gets back past his teammate once again. It's already going, Paul, before he gets into Brooklands.
They've all just run out of tyre gauge. You can see the front blister, and you can see he's off the track. There's nothing you can do.
Lewis Hamilton, once a 4-time winner of the British Grand Prix. It's a 5th British Grand Prix win for Hamilton at Silverstone. Sebastian Vettel, a 10th down in the first sector. He's not found the time he needed in the first part of his lap. Hamilton crosses the line. Hamilton is back on pole position. They love that in the grandstands, but it is not all done and dusted yet. Valtteri Bottas will be next to cross the line in the other Mercedes. Can Bottas get on the front row? No. Valtteri Bottas misses out on a front row place for the first time in 4 races. Kimi Räikkönen, meanwhile, was very impressive through the first sector. Don't count him out of the equation just yet. Through the Vale chicane, Sebastian Vettel now was on pole position. Hamilton took it off him. Vettel crosses the line. He has missed out on pole at Silverstone. Hamilton survives one Ferrari attack, but there's another one coming his way, and this time it is the Iceman keeping his cool until the very, very end. Kimi Räikkönen, can he get on pole at Silverstone again? No, he has missed out. Lewis Hamilton gets a 6th British Grand Prix pole position. It is a record for this event.
Yes, get in here. Get in there, Lewis. You can hear it, mate. You can hear that crowd. Nice work, Lewis. British Grand Prix pole.
5 lights ahead of the drivers at the British Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go. Sebastian Vettel gets a flyer ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Valtteri Bottas on the inside as well. Bottas might have a better line through, and he's beaten Lewis Hamilton into turn 2. Kimi Räikkönen on the outside as they head down towards Village. Vettel from Bottas and Hamilton. Hamilton's gone round and he's clashed, and Kimi Räikkönen involved as well. That is massive disappointment for the British crowd. Verstappen ahead of Ricciardo, ahead of Raikkonen, then Nico Hülkenberg, and then comes the Sauber of Charles Leclerc. Valtteri Bottas pursuing Sebastian Vettel, then comes Max Verstappen, Ricciardo, and then Raikkonen, Hülkenberg, Leclerc, Ocon, Magnussen, and Sainz completed the top 10 on board. But Kimi Raikkonen going through Copse now, flat out alongside the Red Bull, and Raikkonen gets ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. There is guts and there is bravery. Ricciardo trying to fight back, but he can't get through at Maggotts. Already Sebastian Vettel is past him. Kimi Raikkonen got blocked off by Valtteri Bottas. Bottas then steams through, and this is where the action really starts, as Perez did get turned round by Ericsson. And here's the really bad news for Kimi Raikkonen, a 10-second penalty for causing a collision. Kimi Raikkonen crashing into Lewis Hamilton. The stewards are giving him a 10-second penalty. Lewis Hamilton now, Renault power, Mercedes power, that is no contest. That's like heavyweight against flyweight, quite frankly.
Let me know for the front wing. At the moment, I'm in crazy dive for the grid.
I talked to you. Yeah, I talked to you already. But I don't have a front end anymore.
Understood, Kimi.
Hamilton and Raikkonen are putting in an awful lot of moves, aren't they, in this race? A lot of overtaking to be done. And here comes Charles Leclerc, front wing adjustment, medium tyres going on for him, and trying an undercut on Nico Hülkenberg.
He's going slowly, that's not full speed. That's what happens when you're a racing driver. You know, it's not about if you crash, it's when you crash from time to time.
The safety car has gone, and so has Valtteri Bottas, leading this British Grand Prix from Sebastian Vettel. Hamilton under pressure from Verstappen, Raikkonen under pressure from Ricciardo, but Hamilton staying ahead of the Red Bull, and Raikkonen keeping clear of the other Red Bull as they make their way through Club. And now Kimi Raikkonen can get a good slipstream behind Max Verstappen and continue his pursuit. Out in front, Valtteri Bottas from Sebastian Vettel on their way down towards Village.
Yeah, Hamilton struggling for warm-up initial grip, it seemed to me. But he should have it covered now. Bottas with the Ferrari in his move.
Kimi Raikkonen and Max Verstappen going wheel to wheel. Raikkonen almost had to go into another county to get past the Red Bull, but he's managed to do it. Kimi Raikkonen gets Max Verstappen at the restart, but Verstappen is going to come back at him, and through Luffield and onto Woodcote they go. Verstappen is now back ahead of Kimi Raikkonen, but for how much longer? Raikkonen on the inside towards Copse, going wheel to wheel with Max Verstappen, gets the inside line, but Verstappen manages to hold on to the place. Before the bridge on the Wellington Straight, pulling over to the side as Hamilton now has a go at Valtteri Bottas, and Hamilton moves up into second place. And whether that was orchestrated or not, that is a very important place swap and position change for Hamilton.
Bit of oversteer on the exit, and now he's a sitting duck. That's what he should have done when Vettel was coming at him.
Kimi Raikkonen up then into the podium places. The British crowd, the majority of them were hoping for a golden day for the Silver Arrow. It might just be a red letter day instead in the destiny of the championship, as Sebastian Vettel wins the British Grand Prix and leads home Lewis Hamilton in second place and Kimi Raikkonen in third. The fight for 5 world titles goes on. Sebastian Vettel has the lead at the end of the British Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go. Hamilton, I think, got a better start, but Bottas is just ahead at the moment. Covers off his teammate Leclerc in third from Verstappen, and then Sebastian Vettel and Pierre Gasly. Lando Norris looks to be making a decent start. He's level with Daniel Ricciardo already. Into Village we go. Bottas ahead of Hamilton, who's escaped trouble this time around, unlike last year. Leclerc is ahead of the Red Bull of Max Verstappen. Then comes Sebastian Vettel in fifth.
Somehow they all appear to be pointing in the right direction at the moment, side by side as they were through the first few turns. But Bottas has the lead. Hamilton wants it straight away. But as you say, at least he's still in the race, unlike last year when he was turned around in the second corner.
Hamilton thought for one moment of diving round the outside of Brooklands, but he couldn't get through there. We're onto the old start-finish straight and blasting towards Copse. Valtteri Bottas leads Lewis Hamilton. Further back, Ricciardo and Norris going wheel to wheel through Copse. Norris, can he come out ahead? Just ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, but but they're still battling onwards towards Maggot. 2 into 1 doesn't go. Norris just ahead of Ricciardo. This is brilliant, brilliant stuff. The two Silver Arrows racing in the opening laps here, and Hamilton is just inches away from his teammate as they make the turn left-handed through the loop and onto Aintree and now the Wellington straight. And this time, Hamilton is that much closer to Valtteri Bottas, but this time they're going to have to go wheel-to-wheel through Brooklands, and somehow Bottas is staying ahead, but he's got a bit too deep, and Hamilton through Luffield. Can he take the lead of the British Grand Prix? They're ready to celebrate. Now they can start, because Lewis Hamilton, the man they've come to cheer, leads the British Grand Prix. Bottas, though, is going to come back at him through Cobbs. Bottas retakes the lead. Wow! The yellow flag is for Antonio Giovinazzi, who seems to have dropped it in the gravel on the exit of the Vale chicane. So
the full safety car as well.
Full safety
That's
car.
Stack them back up.
Now,
that'll play into Hamilton's hands.
Well,
will it
where
not?
is Lewis Hamilton? Hamilton surely coming into the pits. Yes, he is.
He was negative. He wasn't going to beat Bottas under normal racing circumstances by only a second, but it's so much quicker to make a stop under a safety car. Even a sort of generally safe stop like that is surely going to give Hamilton the lead of this race, Crofty.
It will do. He can go to the end on those tyres, no problem at all.
5-6 British Grand Prix wins.
He does it. Fastest lap as well on the last lap.
All the crowd, thank you so much for all coming out. I appreciate you all, and to the team, thank you so much for the opportunity to be a part of this.
An incredible British Grand Prix it was. A real treat for a record-breaking crowd. The future secured for Silverstone for at least 5 more years. The 70th British Grand Prix won in a record-breaking 6th time by Lewis Hamilton, championship leader, and a champion performance on a champion Grand Prix.